This might have been the hardest roster I think I've ever had to predict or tried to do at some point in time. So, welcome back to another video. It is me, I'm back, and I wanted to talk about Marvel Tokkon. It's been a few weeks since the game has been announced. It's actually been exactly 2 weeks since the game has been announced, and I want to talk about it. And I also want to predict the roster. One, when I saw this trailer, I was watching it during the State of Play with my friends, and I was like, this State of Play is okay. And I remember someone in the call, I think it was either Andrew or it was Sean. It was someone in the call, and they was just like, Xavier. And I was just like, huh? And I was looking at it, and I was looking at the trailer, and I was like, Arc System works. And then I saw Marvel. I was losing my shit. Like, easily one of the hypest I've ever been for a game. I'm actively hyped for this game. This game has brought me. I'm more hyped for this game than I've ever been for any other game besides Dragon Ball Fighters. It's actually nuts, and I'm very, very excited. The trailer was amazing. We got to see a few characters. We actually get to see Captain America, Iron Man, Storm, Spider-Man, Star-Lord, Miss Marvel, Ghost Rider, and Doctor Doom in the default trailer. So it's really, really cool. The game is being made by Arc System Works, like I said, which are the main developers for Dragon Ball Fighters, Guilty Gear Strive, and stuff like that. It's very, very exciting. I love Dragon Ball Fighters. That's obvious by the amount of videos I've had on Dragon Ball Fighters in the past. It's one of the games I still actively played. I even played it today with Sean. I love Dragon Ball Fighters to this day. So I'm very, very excited for this game. The trailer had a lot of cool stuff, like references to like Daredevil, references to like Norman Osborn being president, Luna Snow, Dazzler, Thor. Like there's a lot of references and cool stuff in the trailer. It's obviously one of the big talking points is that it's a 4v4 game, which is fucking insane. One of the biggest things we talked about with hypothetical Marvel vs. Capcom 4 was that is it going to be 4 characters, and everyone thought it was going to be crazy. So it's very, very interesting that this game is going to be that, and Arc System Works took that jump. They was just like, we're going to do it, right, with the 4v4 gameplay, because no other game has been willing to do that. And they've even explained in the blog post that you could either play all 4 characters, kind of with the active tag mechanic like Marvel Infinite, and I think plays Blue Cross Tag Battle, but you can also just play as one character and have 3 other side characters. And it's kind of like reminds me of Naruto Storm with the one main character and then the 2 other assists in Naruto Storm 3 and no, not 4. 4 you can actually switch Naruto Storm 3 and stuff like that. And it's gonna be really cool. I do like that it's gonna be like that for people that aren't used to really like wanting to learn 4 fighting game characters, because learning more than 1 fighting game character is already daunting enough that people don't talk about. So it's very, very interesting that they're going with that mindset. There's a lot of cool stuff in the trailer, like I said. We get to see Spider-Man, and I'm gonna say some hot takes a little bit. I am very, very happy that a lot of these characters are playing differently to what they normally would play in a Marvel game, because I've always wanted to play Spider-Man in every game ever. Spider-Man's one of my favorite characters of all time, but in Marvel vs. Capcom, I hated playing Spider-Man in that game. I never liked how he played. Same thing for like Iron Man. Like as soon as I saw the trailer and I saw Iron Man has like projectiles he can like set up and then do an air dash and get some pressure, I was just like, oh yeah, I'm definitely playing Iron Man in this game. The only character that's gonna suck for me, that's he's not gonna play like Marvel version of him, is probably Doctor Doom. That's the only thing that makes me sad a bit. But I'm really, really excited to see how Arc System Works is going to change these characters from the Marvel version of these characters, because a lot of people aren't recognizing that these characters are going to play so differently than how they did in Marvel vs. Capcom, which is the thing that like a lot of people are asking for characters like, oh, let's get Magneto, let's get Sentinel, let's get a lot of these like big Marvel characters. And I also want Magneto. We're going to talk about my predictions later, but these characters might play differently. For example, we're so used to how fast Magneto is in like Marvel vs. Capcom that in Marvel Rivals, when he came out and he was a tank and he was slow as hell and still slow as hell to this day, it's definitely like, wow, like not everyone's gonna see Magneto as this absolute like speed demon, you know what I'm saying? So I'm very, very excited for the game, and the entire last 2 weeks I've been just thinking about this roster, and this is where it goes back to what I said at the beginning of the video, that I wanted to try and make a prediction roster, trying to predict what the roster is going to be and what the first 2 season passes would be, mostly because I don't think this game's going to have more than 26 characters. At first, I wanted to do 24 characters, but I was just like, bro, like, I really need 2 more characters. Like, I really want 2 more characters and stuff like that. But I think the game's going to launch with around 22 to 26 characters, which hurts a lot because there's a lot of characters I want to be in the base roster, but because of how certain characters I think are gonna make the game are gonna take up certain slots, it's just like, dang, like I'm glad this game won. Any character that doesn't make the base roster, watch, they're gonna make it eventually. This game is gonna get support for years to come. I would be shocked if this game doesn't get like 7 seasons of DLC. Because one, it's Marvel, one of the biggest IPs. Everyone's gonna buy this game. They're gonna get hella money on DLC. And there's a lot of big characters that they can make DLC where they're just gonna make hella money. So I'm very, very excited for that. But anyway, we talked about my thoughts on Marvel Tokkon. I'm very, very excited. We're probably gonna see more at EVO, stuff like that. But I want to get into my roster prediction. And making this roster was definitely hard. There are some like characters where I just picked them. This roster's not more of like, I don't have a lot of weird picks. I know some people wanted like weird picks, like deep cuts. But for me, I didn't really do that. I wanted to focus more on characters that I think should be in the game, that have to be in the game. Or not have to be in the game, but when they said in the blog post that they're focusing on characters that are the face of Marvel, and they want to put characters in the game that have never been played in a Marvel game, people automatically went to deep cuts, but I'm like, there's a lot of characters that haven't been playable in like a Marvel game, like a Marvel fighting game, like at all. So it's just like, we don't really have to go deep cuts. Like I don't know if they're gonna do a lot of deep cuts, but I chose not to do deep cuts. I try to do like characters I think of like basically like shoehorn in to make it, in my opinion. But if they don't make it in, like they're probably gonna be like DLC or whatever, like and stuff like that. But let's get into it. In the comments section, you can tell me your thoughts on my predictions, but also your predictions. I would love to read your predictions. And even like your predictions on if you think that the roster is going to be more than 26 characters. If you think the roster is going to be 30 characters, let me know down below. But like we said, we're going to go down my list. We talked about Storm, Spider-Man, Star-Lord, Captain America, Iron Man, Miss Marvel, Ghost Rider, and Doctor Doom. Miss Marvel and Star-Lord were definitely like the big ones from this roster revealed, and Ghost Rider. But Ghost Rider's been in Marvel 3, so that's not as surprising. But Miss Marvel and Star-Lord being in is definitely surprising and really, really cool. Because Star-Lord's never been playable in a Marvel fighting game, and definitely not Kamala Khan. But it makes sense. Both these characters are very, very popular. And low-key, one of these characters hurts another character that I'm going to have on this list, but I think he's still going to make it in. But we're going to go to the next character, Thor. In the trailer, you can literally see Thor on a statue next to Captain America and Iron Man. They are definitely in the game. There is no way Thor is not in the game, and I hope he's super fun. Thor's only in Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and also he's like an assist in Marvel vs. Capcom 1. And he looks so cool in that game, but he's not fun to me. I've never found Thor fun in Marvel vs. Capcom, so I'm really, really interested for what they're going to do. Are they going to make this more of a bulky Odin Thor, or are they going to make this more like a 2008 Thor run type of Thor? Either or, I think it's going to be awesome. I don't think it's going to be the beard Thor, Odin Thor as much, because in the trophy or the statue, it has him as just normal, like stereotypical Thor. But that'd be cool that we can get like alternate costumes for that. That'd be very, very interesting. Next character I think is a shoehorn is Hulk. Hulk's a main Avenger, one of the main Avengers, has to make it in. Hulk is always in every game, and also he's a big character, which we need more big characters in this game. They've even talked about in the blog post that they want more different stereotypical archetypes, so we definitely need big characters like the Hulk. So that'd be very, very interesting. I definitely want to see what version of the Hulk they're going to go with. Like, I don't mean that in terms of like, oh, is it going to be She-Hulk or Red Hulk? No, I mean like, what version of the Hulk are we going to get? Like, is it going to be like a World War Hulk? Is it going to just be a stereotypical Hulk? Is it going to be more like something more connected to the Hulk and Bruce Banner being fully merged and being like a partnership, kind of like Marvel Rivals and kind of like the MCU? Very, very interested. But I think he's going to be a shoehorn into the game. And now let's go into more characters that are kind of like not the shoehorn ins. Like all the rest of these characters could not make it in. I don't think anybody, or not make it in base roster. Like all these characters I'm about to name are characters that I want base roster, but I don't think they're going to be. First character is Black Panther. Black Panther, I want to add him to like the shoehorn in because he's one of the most popular Marvel characters of all time, especially in the last 25 years. He's fast. He can be like a really cool mix-up character, and you know Arxis Works really likes their mix-up characters, and he's cool as hell. I think he's gonna be in the game. He's like one of the characters I think he's pretty sure gonna make it in, or the first season of DLC. Next is the most controversial part of my prediction. That was the hardest part. So in the trailer, you see the Baxter building. You see the Baxter building. You see Avengers Tower. You see Roxxon. You see stuff like that. You'll see Oscorp. But one thing that is beaming at me the most is that this is a 4v4 fighting game, and it would be really crazy if the Fantastic Four weren't playable. And at first I was watching other videos. I was watching videos like Roofamonger video about how he talked about, oh, they can probably be like the Ginyu Force, and I thought about that, and I thought that was a cool idea. But I'm also like, it just would hurt if I can't play as every single one of the Fantastic Four separately. And it makes sense for all of the characters. The only one it doesn't make sense for is Mr. Fantastic, because we have Kamala Khan and she has the same stretchy powers as Mr. Fantastic. But they definitely use their powers a little differently. And you could probably do more stuff with Mr. Fantastic where you can make him more tech, like more goobers, like he has more like machines and tech that he uses. He could use like the ultimate nullifier and stuff like that. So there's a lot of stuff that you can do with it, but it's definitely very funny that in the base roster of this Marvel game, we might have 2 characters that can stretch and have like full screen normals, which is really, really funny. But I just don't think I could make this roster without having the Fantastic Four in a 4v4 game. I just don't think I could. So I have a Human Torch, I have Invisible Woman, I have the Thing, and I have Mr. Fantastic. I just have to do it. Another character I have is Daredevil. I have Daredevil in because, one, I love Daredevil, but also Fogwell's Gem is in the game, literally on the base stage from the trailer. I would be very shocked if Daredevil's not in, especially because Daredevil is low-key in not a lot of games right now. He's not in Marvel Rivals yet. He's not in any other, I don't think he's been in any other Marvel fighting game. So, besides, like, unless you want to count Contest of Champions. But besides that, he's not been in any other fighting game. So that's another unique character that has not been in a Marvel fighting game. Low-key, I also said all of the Fantastic Four, they've also not been in a Marvel fighting game. So it's just, once again, adding to the list of things where people were talking about, oh, deep cuts, but I don't think there's gonna be a lot of deep cuts because they talked about we want characters that are the face of Marvel, but also characters that literally have never been playable in a game, and that's one of those characters, like a lot of those characters. And also, the Fantastic Four movie literally comes out next month, and they're pushing the hell out of the Fantastic Four movie for the next 3 years, or the Fantastic Four in general, because they're going to be the Fantastic Four movie, they're going to be in Doomsday, they're going to be in Secret Wars. It just helps a lot when they're in a game, and you know Disney loves doing their multimedia promotion, because remember, this is a Marvel game, and Marvel itself, like MCU, is owned by Disney and stuff like that, but Disney also influences a lot of stuff with the games and the comics and stuff like that. They like pushing multimedia characters. Characters are gonna be in the movies, and then those characters are gonna be the movies, are gonna be in the games and the comics and stuff like that. But anyway, we're on that little tangent. I think Daredevil's gonna be in a game. He's gonna be really cool. I think he's gonna be more of an agility character that throws like his batons and can swing around the stage like Spider-Man a little bit. I think he'll be really, really cool. Now we're gonna get into some villains. Magneto. I know I said earlier that Magneto might not make it in and he might not play the same, but I think Magneto's one of those shoe-in mutant characters. In the trailer, we already got confirmed that Storm is playable, and Storm is one of the biggest mutant characters. So it's obvious that more mutants are probably going to be on the base roster, but don't be shocked if a lot of mutants make it as DLC, because they know they're going to make money off the fact that people love mutants, people love the X-Men and stuff like that. But I do think certain characters are going to be base roster, and I think Magneto's going to be that, especially because we need more villains. And picking the villains for this list was hard because I'm just like, I have a villain later on in this list where I'm just like, I don't feel good about him being base roster. I feel like he would be DLC, but I'm also like, we need more villains. And I'm just like, I just don't think we need more villains. It's just hard to pick. And I'll talk about it more later, but I definitely think Magneto's going to be baseline because he's one of the most popular mutant villain characters and one of the most iconic Marvel fighting game characters. Even though he will not play like the way he does in Marvel's Capcom, they have to put Magneto in. Like, I'm pretty sure he'll be base roster, and if he's not, he'll definitely be first season of DLC as one of those characters like rope people in. But don't worry, my first season pass has some characters that are gonna rope people in. So next, we're gonna talk about Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange has definitely become more and more popular throughout the years. One of my favorite characters. I love Strange. One of my favorite things is playing Marvel Rivals and just playing Doctor Strange. He's one of my favorite characters, especially his voice acting. Low-key, I'm really, really hoping for this game they take a lot of those voice actors from Marvel Rivals, because a lot of those voice actors are really, really good. Like, a lot of those characters, whenever I think of the character now, I think about those voices. Like whenever I think about, well, Spider-Man's been voiced by Yuri Lowenthal for a while now, ever since Spider-Man PS1. But whenever I think of Spider-Man, I hear Yuri Lowenthal. Every time I think of Doctor Strange, I hear the Rivals version. I hear the Eye of Agamotto. Like all the other things, all the lines, like, you know how many crises I put out? You have no idea. There's so many characters in this game that, like, they have so many iconic lines from Rivals that I'll be shocked if they don't take a lot of those voice actors and put them in this game. I think some of those voice actors are iconic, and it would make me sad if Doctor Strange in this game is cool, awesome, but he doesn't have the same voice actor from Marvel Rivals, because I love that voice actor so much for Strange. But anyway, I think Doctor Strange is going to be really, really cool. Doctor Strange was also in Marvel 3, so it's just another character that's been in other Marvel games, but I think Doctor Strange is so popular now that he has to be in the game. I think he'll be base roster. I don't think he'll be DLC. Like, he just seems like a base roster type person. Next two characters that might seem really weird for some people is Black Widow and Hawkeye. I think Black Widow and Hawkeye have to make it in. I think all of the main Avengers that everyone knows will be in the game. The only one I don't think will be base roster is Ant-Man. Ant-Man is one of the founding members of the Avengers, just like Wasp, but I still don't think in the modern day they're as popular. Like when most people think of like the Avengers, they think of Captain America, Iron Man, Black Widow, Hawkeye, Hulk, Thor, Captain America. You know what I'm saying? Those are the main ones they think about, especially because of the MCU Avengers movie. So it just would shock me if both of them don't make it in, or even one of them's DLC. Like, they don't seem like DLC type characters. Like, if someone announced Hawkeye and Black Widow are gonna be DLC, I just don't think people are gonna be like, oh my god, like, we did it. Hawkeye, Black Widow. Like, I just don't see it. I see them being like base roster. You know what I'm saying? I hope they do really cool stuff. Like, I love how Marvel Rivals has Hawkeye's design, where he's just more of like the Ronin version of the character with the sword and does cool stuff. And even Black Widow, I love Black Widow's design in Marvel Rivals. I just hate the way she plays, but I think like those designs are really, really cool, and I think it'd be cool if they did something like that. And they can do very, very interesting stuff. They can make Black Widow low-key like Sea Viper from Street Fighter 4 and Street Fighter 6, which would be very, very interesting. So we'll see, but I'm very, very excited for that, and I think they'll be base roster. Next is some of the characters that a lot of people don't think they're gonna be base roster, and I can understand why they might be DLC, because he brings out that much like energy and hype. Is Wolverine. Wolverine is one of the most popular Marvel characters of all time, has always been one of the most popular characters, and is synonymous with Marvel fighting games, with Marvel vs. Capcom and stuff like that. He's like in every game. And even though this is not made by Capcom, I feel like this is one of those games where you just have to have Wolverine in it. Like, he just has to be like a main character. Even for Marvel Rivals, Wolverine was base roster. And I'm sorry that I keep bringing up Marvel's Rivals if you don't mess with Rivals. It's just that we gotta remember, these games are all being produced by Marvel Games and Marvel and stuff like that. Or even being, this game's not being made by Marvel Games, but they're helping out. They're like part of it's like a collaboration and stuff like that. And so if they're thinking about characters that are the face of Marvel, especially if they're working with Marvel Games, they're gonna definitely get influence from the Marvel Games and Disney and stuff like that. And I'll be shocked if Wolverine isn't base roster or first season of DLC. Like I said, like, he's one of those characters that he can easily be base roster, or he could be first season DLC to get everyone to spend their money. So yeah, but I would be very, very excited for Wolverine. Wolverine's gonna be cool. I'm very, very excited to see how they make him play, because, you know, Marvel's Capcom Wolverine is synonymous with Rushdown, going crazy. Like, I love Marvel's Capcom 3 Wolverine. It's my favorite version of the character. Really, really fast. Got those cool air combos with the dive kick and stuff like that. Like, I'm very, very interested in how Arxis Works is going to mess with him. Like, are they going to make him fast as hell, or are they going to make him, like, slow? And also, are they going to make him small? Are they going to make him more accurate Wolverine, or are they going to make him more like Hugh Jackman, X-Men movies, MCU inspired? I'm very, very excited for that. Another character that's in the same category as Wolverine is Venom. Venom's another character where it's just like, he can be base roster, or he could be like DLC, because Venom and Wolverine are those characters that just bring people together. Like, no matter what, any game ever, they need to have those two in it. I'm very, very excited. I loved playing Venom in Marvel Infinite. I did like him in Marvel's Capcom 1 a little bit, but Marvel Infinite was like my favorite version of Venom. He was one of my mains. I loved playing him, and I'm very, very excited for what Arxis can do. And I also want to know, which version of Venom are they going to do? Are they going to make him big as shit? Because one of the things about Venom is that he's so adaptable. Like, you can make him big as fuck, or you can make him more like kind of like a power forward type build, kind of like tall but not like a center. Sorry, that was random basketball, but like something like that build, or you're gonna make him big, or you're gonna make him like the big chunky Venom. I do like what Marvel Rivals did. They kind of picked in them like a little bit big Venom, but also like he's still like a power forward type build of him. I don't really care what version they pick. I'm just very, very curious because which version they pick will determine how he's gonna play. Like, is he gonna be fast? Is he gonna be like more of like a slower build Venom but does big damage? Very, very interested for how he's gonna play. Next is Thanos. Thanos is one of those other characters that's just like, ooh, what are they gonna do with Thanos? Like, is he gonna be DLC? I thought base roster because we need more villains, and I was just like, he's one of the biggest villains, and I don't think he's gonna be part of the main story mode or something like that. But I just think like it's just weird. Like, it's just weird not looking at his roster and be like, we need more villains, and I'm just like, Thanos is one of the biggest villains, and he would be hyped for DLC, but I think that Thanos would make base roster. The next character is Green Goblin. Throughout the trailer, you can see things like Oscorp for President and Oscorp Tower and stuff like that. I'll be very, very shocked if Green Goblin doesn't make it in some way, or is even a boss character in some way. Green Goblin's one of the most popular characters of all time, and we need more Spider-Man characters. Like, Spider-Man characters, get ready. Spider-Man characters are going to fill this roster. By the time this game is dead and no longer getting DLC, expect a lot of people to be upset about the fact that there's a lot of Spider-Man characters, how there is Goku characters in Dragon Ball FighterZ. Probably not to the same extent, but very, very close, because Spider-Man characters are the most popular characters in Marvel, and also they're some of the coolest characters in Marvel. Like, I'm talking about Green Goblin. We haven't even talked about freaking Carnage and stuff like that. Like, there's a lot of Spider-Man villains that they could take up this roster and stuff like that. But yeah, I think Green Goblin's gonna be one of those characters. Last two characters, Scarlet Witch and Hela. I brought Scarlet Witch because I was just like, we need more girls on the roster. But also, Scarlet Witch has some of the coolest powers, especially with her chaos magic. She's able to do a lot of unique stuff, and they can do a lot of crazy stuff with her. They can do a lot of like crazy, like no more mutants type stuff, or they can be like a little bit more relaxed and stuff like that. But she has a lot of stuff that they can do. We're also going to talk about Hela. Hela's adding more girls to the roster, another female villain that could be really, really cool, and especially with her being in Marvel Rivals and her being in Thor Ragnarok. Like, Hela is still a decently popular character, and she looks cool as hell. Like, Hela, no pun intended, really, really cool. I would be really, really happy if she made it in. But those two characters are definitely like, I don't know if they're going to make it in. But that is the base roster for Marvel Tokkon for me. Yeah. It took us almost 30 minutes to get to this, but we're almost done. But that's what I think for the base roster. It's definitely got a lot of like mainstay Marvel characters. Definitely like not like deep cuts, like I said, but definitely like some characters where you're just like, ooh, they might make base roster, or they might be first season of DLC. But let's get into the first season of DLC. We're gonna end the video with the first season. Here are the characters I think are gonna make it in, right? First is Deadpool. I think Deadpool is one of those characters where he is like a shoehorn for DLC. Like, I don't think he would make base roster because of how popular he is. You gotta remember, this is a fighting game that has to sell DLC season passes, and they need to make money off the fact that people are excited for a character, and they're always gonna put the hype characters behind DLC, especially characters like, for example, Akuma. Akuma's been DLC since Street Fighter V. He's DLC in Street Fighter 6, and he's probably gonna be DLC in Street Fighter 7. It's just like how it is, because everyone knows that they're gonna buy Akuma, and he's super hype. And I think Deadpool's like also one of those characters. Like, he's just that hype where like if they put him as DLC, if they don't put him as DLC, they will be literally like not making as much money as they could, or selling as many season passes. And I think he'll be really, really cool. Miles Morales has to make it in as DLC. I would love him to be base roster, but he's another one of those characters that he is so popular. Has literally another movie coming out in 2027. There's literally no way that he's not in this game, but no way he's not DLC. Like, he would sell so many season passes by himself, just like Deadpool, that he has to make it in. He's gonna have a lot of cool stuff, especially if they go into the comic route, where he's gonna have his electricity sword, and then all the even spider demigod stuff or whatever, or they can just go straight from Beyond the Spider-Verse, just doing straight that, and they can even have costumes. There's a lot of stuff they can do with Miles, and I feel like he's just a shoehorn in for DLC. Now, this character, I would love to be base roster, and I low-key wanted him to, but I think they're going to put a lot of mutants behind DLC, and one of those characters is Cyclops. I love Cyclops. any game that Cyclops is in, X-Men vs Street Fighter, Marvel vs Capcom 2, I'm gonna play it. I love Cyclops. He's one of the coolest characters. I think he's cool in like everything except the movies, which I hope they do, and they make him cool in Avengers Doomsday. But I just love Cyclops and think he just has so much aura. I hope that they put him in Marvel Rivals soon. I really would love to play Cyclops, and I think he's going to be either base roster or first season DLC. Next is a Groot Rocket combo. I low-key wanted to put them as DLC, not DLC, as base roster. Low-key, I could replace Hela with them. Like, I think they're going to be like a duo. I think it's going to be like maybe Groot, because Rocket was playable in Marvel 3. I don't think Infinite. I'm pretty sure Marvel 3. But Groot, I don't think has ever been playable. I don't think he's in Marvel Infinite. So it's just like, I think another character that adds to the fact that he's never been playable. And also, whenever you think about Groot and Rocket, you think of them as a duo. I think it's probably going to be Groot as the main character and Rocket as like an assist character. But it'd be cool if they actually make them a full tag character. I think it'd be really cool. But like I said, they could be base roster, and they could be low-key replaced with Hela and be base roster. But I think it would be very, very shocked if both of them or Rocket doesn't make it in. And I didn't think about the other Guardians of the Galaxy right now, not Gamora. Gamora was in Marvel Infinite, or other characters, or Drax. They're not at the top of my mind right now. I don't think they're like... I would love Gamora. She's one of my favorite characters in Marvel Infinite. She's one of my mains. I mained her with Venom. But I don't think she's like at the peak of popularity right now, especially because she's dead in the MCU. Well, the old version of Gamora, not the past version that's now in the new universe and Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Anyway, their Guardians are not going to really be in movies anymore and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So, like... I just don't think they're at the top of their mind. Last character for this video, and then we'll end the video, is Ultron. I think Ultron is going to make it in. Ultron was really, really cool in Marvel Infinite. Ultron's also one of the most popular Marvel characters, Marvel villains of all time, and I would be shocked if he's not DLC, especially because if they want to make money, like I said, to sell these season passes, they're going to want to put these big characters like Ultron behind that. I think it'd be really cool. It'd be another flying kind of type character like Storm, all the drones and stuff like that. It'll be very, very interesting and really, really cool. I would love to play Ultron. I think he'll be first season of DLC. And so, that is my prediction. It took me 27 minutes to get here because I was rambling for a long time. But this is my thoughts on what I think the base roster and the first season pass of Marvel Tokkon will be. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you guys for watching the video. Leave a like, subscribe for more content like this, and hit that bell posting consistently. And thank you guys for listening to me ramble about this prediction roster that none of these characters might make it in. You know what I'm saying? For the base roster and the season pass. But I love when a new fighting game is coming out because it gives us videos like this to talk about where you can just theorize about how these characters are gonna play, and it just gives me so much excitement. Like, I remember when this game got announced, I wanted to drop a video on it so bad, so I'm glad that I'm finally able to do it. But like I said, I will see you guys next time. Peace.